I know cheese is bad, it's mainly saturated fat, and I'm aware that chocolate contains far too much sugar. But I love cheese and I love chocolate, and I enjoy my diet so much, I don't want to change it. It's not that I can change it, I don't want to. Yeah, right, it's not that you can't, you don't want to, huh? Nice try.
I really, really love cheese.
What does it mean when somebody says that she loves cheese and that she enjoys her diet? What are the physical realities behind such affirmations? What is the nature of the fact of enjoying a diet or a particular food? Which body part, intellectual function, or senses are creating the feeling of enjoyment when we have a piece of cheese or chocolate in our mouth? Let's proceed by elimination. Are we dealing here with pure intellectual satisfaction? First, we need to find out what is intellectual satisfaction. In the word intellectual, there is the root intellect, and the intellect is entirely a product of the activity of our truly unique human neocortex that we don't share with any other creatures on this planet. No intellectual satisfaction comes from any secretion in our pancreas, liver, or mouth. In a very broad way, intellectual satisfaction happens when an experience transforms our way of thinking about the world and dealing with it. Not when our senses are just working the way they are supposed to work. This means our eyes can perceive light, our ears sounds, and our taste bud taste. Your taste buds will always function whether you're a genius or not. So it's doubtful that taste buds contribute to intellectual satisfaction.
Cookies and cream. Almonds are my favorites. Oh my gosh.
So we know that when somebody says that she loves chocolate, she's not referring to the intellectual satisfaction of knowing that this particular chocolate is made with cocoa beans that come from a specific area of a specific country, picked by some exclusive type of workers, paid a certain sum of money, etc., etc.
Put in the simplest of terms, Abdul is a child slave.
She just means that it produces pleasure in her body through the taste buds via some nerves to the pleasure center in her brain. I think the possums in my yard can experience that. Let's look at a case of intellectual satisfaction. Consider a Japanese native, learning English to be able to understand Shakespeare or read John Irving in the original version instead of a Japanese translation. He could very well understand what's going on in Romeo and Juliet in a Japanese translation, and get all the details he needs in any of Irving's novels in translations as well.
Good night, you princes of Maine, you kings of New England.
But is this the best way to really seize the cultural elements of these two nations? Let's look at another example. You could enjoy visiting a foreign country and just staring at the wonderful architecture and marvel at how pretty those arches and columns are. Or you could do that and also learn how those arches were developed. Are they native to that particular culture or inherited from another one? What else has been tried before that was not retained? Is there actually a reason other than structure and beauty for the ways some buildings that you are visiting in a foreign land are built the way they are built? That is intellectual curiosity producing intellectual satisfaction. This is uniquely human and no other animals care about knowing for just knowing. So does enjoying the taste of some food have something to do with the intellectual satisfaction? Apparently not, since a below than average intellect and a smart guy can both appreciate the same food.
One cheeseburger and one fries for me. Alright, so then I got a little cheeseburger with...
It's purely a sensory experience that involves taste and smell, which are not uniquely humans but shared with cats, dogs, pigs, and cockroaches. So what does it mean when somebody says he enjoys a particular type of food? Here's what it means. It means that this person seeks the reproduction over and over of a very unstable experience that must be repeated and repeated but eventually stops being enjoyable. This is called pleasure, with no strings attached. It relies on organic stimulation. You experience pleasure through your taste buds as you put a piece of that particular food into your mouth, and the pleasure goes away as soon as chewing is done and you swallow. So you have to put another piece into your mouth, experience brief pleasure again while you're chewing, then it goes away again. Bummer. And here you go, stuffing your face to keep experiencing pleasure. Eventually something strange happens in most cases. The pleasure stops, you have to stop, take a break for several hours before pleasure can actually be experienced again during the next meal or snack by putting again pieces of that food in your mouth in rapid successive bouts. Intellectual satisfaction doesn't go away the way pleasure brought by eating a particular food does. For example, as a native Japanese speaker, once you've learned English and you have a close to native command of the English language, you are able to seize nuances that you couldn't have experienced in a Japanese translation. At no moment will you feel that you can't take it anymore, that reading Dickinson in English is becoming unbearable. I'm not gonna take it anymore! As is the case with stuffing one's face. Actually, you'll even be able to enjoy the fact that you can function in English even if you're not at the moment. Just knowing that you can, as a Japanese man, read English like a native can bring satisfaction in itself. Knowing that you can have chocolate but don't have it is not going to create any pleasure or satisfaction, unless you have a disease that hasn't been documented yet. Contrary to sensory stimulation, intellectual satisfaction is stable. It's part of your state of being that you build through experiences and doesn't rely on repeated stimuli of the senses. Intellectual satisfaction eventually, over the years, has the power to transform you into somebody else, hopefully somebody better. Experiencing alternating states of pleasure through eating doesn't and will not. You don't become better or different because you now know the taste of wasabi or brie or chocolate. So it's time to ask the question again. If enjoying a food has nothing to do with any kind of deep transformation of your being, why is it that most people simply can't stop eating a particular food and will rationalize their behavior with triviality, such as they need the food to enjoy life, or they enjoy their diet so much they can't just fathom life without it? Actually, it can get better than this. Some people will feel special and superior because they do enjoy a particular type of food that they must absolutely have. I'm sure you know somebody, usually with a decent income, who is always proud to tell you that he or she eats foie gras or some other obscure animal body part. Are these people really that great compared to the rest of us who have decided that we simply can't eat something just because we like the taste of it? Look around. Most of the people you know who enjoy some type of food and who will refuse to negotiate over it are all expressing some form of selfishness and cowardice. As food cowards, most of the time, they would agree that torturing animals to produce some food is wrong, and they wouldn't do it themselves. But once the food is in front of them, they'll consume it. There's absolutely no reason to feel special about loving a particular food. Nature wired us to love mixtures of fat, protein and sugar. Whether it's chocolate, cheese, ice cream or pizza, or expensive exotic foods supposed to make us feel so special. If you tell me that you feel special, or at least different, because you enjoy cold showers outside in your yard in the middle of the winter in Montreal, or that you love to run barefoot on stones, or you love to climb very high in a tree and watch the sunrise, or maybe you have learned to love intense, short bouts of running right after you are done drinking coffee around 6 a.m., and you do this because it's a great way for you to experience and be aware of your body, I tell you that those are the results of work done on your mind, and I could understand how these activities could bring intellectual satisfaction. All these actions are changing your relative position with respect to the world around you. Eating fat and sugar because it's pleasurable and not being able to stop doesn't make you special. It makes you more like bears and raccoons.